I'll send it to you. So let's get this out of the way. There is no magic trick, okay? There is no shortcut. There is no secret sauce, you guys. I'm going to go deep with you guys here, okay? Super deep. Put a yes in the chat if you're ready to like break through a level right here. There is no magic trick. There is no secret sauce. I and you, oh, I love this. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. We've all been looking for answers outside of ourselves, right? We've been getting the tarot readings. We've been looking to the pastor. We've been going to the therapist to get answers outside of us, right? We're looking for someone outside of us to save us, right? And give us like this secret, this knowledge that we don't already know. And when the truth of the matter is, when you're looking for someone to save you like that, that is bypassing, right? And it's not to say that therapy is bad. It's not to say that tarot is bad, right? It's not to say that therapy or church is bad. My house healing started as a tarot reading business, right? I love all of these things. I go to therapy. I've gone to therapy for 5 years. But when we don't look at these things as tools to reflect back to us what we already know, we are giving our power away, right? So like I said, the good news is you materialized into my reality because you're finally ready to face some real shit. Who's ready to face some real shit? Okay. Yes, I love that. Emily, thumbs up. So I say this to you because I don't have any special talents, special abilities, special powers, right? That you don't have. I just have a deeper understanding of the way that the universe works. I'm more connected to my intuition. I'm more intentional with my time. I take my vision more seriously. And I take massive, massive action, even when I'm afraid. Okay. And so that's just to give you context. This is how I got to where I am. And so the good news is you can learn how to do this too. You can learn how to live intentionally. Right? Like you guys, some of you guys in this room know my story. Some of you don't. I've lived like 5 different lives just in my 28 years. Like I have so many stories. I should probably write a book. I'm going to write a book eventually. Coming to a store near you eventually. So whatever you are struggling with, I have probably dealt with as well. I've had a chronic health condition. I have a chronic health condition that almost took my life twice. I've struggled with an eating disorder and body dysmorphia. I ran codependency programs and found myself in abusive, narcissistic, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive relationships. I am in the process of now processing repressed sexual trauma. I've abused alcohol and drugs to suppress my emotions, and I got arrested for a DUI. I've escaped toxic family relationship patterns, like emotional enmeshment. That's like a whole class that I could do. Patty says, do the book. I love it. I paid off over $30,000 in debt. I've quit my 9-to-5 and I started my own business, and I've experienced a Kundalini awakening that I thought I was going to have to go to the mental hospital. That was crazy. So I don't say this to minimize your struggle. Patty says it will be a movie. Yes. Yes, it will be a movie. I don't say this to minimize your struggle at all. I say that, like, on the contrary, I'm empowering you. I'm saying this to empower you, to say, like, I've dealt with everything that I've dealt with, and I'm still here living my best life. My life is testimony of that. When you bet on yourself, when you believe in the universe or God or higher power or whatever you want to call it, and you live intentionally, you can get to where you're going, where you want to go. Here's the thing. I've never let any single one of those things stop me from living the life that I want to live. And this is like the one thing I've always been sure about. I never knew how to put it into words really up until I had my spiritual awakening. But I've always known that external conditions and circumstances don't matter. It's really just how you perceive things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we have this knowing inside, right? And we just don't know how to put it to words. But I'm going to go vulnerable with you here, right? You guys want me to go vulnerable? Put a yes in the chat if you're ready to go vulnerable here.
Yeah, please.
This is a story I haven't shared in a professional setting. Yes, we hold a love for you. Yes, thank you. I haven't shared this story in a professional setting just because I'm still processing this. I'm still like going through it, but we've made it to the other side. So you guys, you may know or you may not know, I share my boyfriend a lot of my story. He's my dream partner. I manifested him. We've gone through so much together. But over the wintertime, we almost called it quits. And I decided that the only way for Paul and I to really figure our stuff out was to live separately. We bought a house together in July and we lived together. And I was like, we gotta take some space. We gotta live separately. And so he had 30 days to move out. And in that 30 days, he's an amazing master manifester. He's on the spiritual journey. He's very about self-mastery too. He's like a dream partner. He's my mirror. So in that 30 days, he decided, the keyword is decided, that there was a reality where the outcome of us staying together and our relationship getting stronger existed. And so he was going to not entertain any other possibilities and just focus on stepping up to becoming the version that he needed to be for us to stay together and live together and be together. And so he focused on doing what he needed to do, showing up as that elevated version of himself. Even when I was like, hey, when are you moving out? Hey, look at these apartments. Hey, do I need to schedule movers? Like, he was like, I'm going to focus on me and it will all work out. And we are now the strongest that we've ever been. He focused his soul energy on the one outcome that he knew lived somewhere out in the ether, right? It lived somewhere on a timeline and he just wasn't on it. And he was like, all I can do is control. I'm not going to care about what's happening outside of me. We are staying together. And he did. He led us, both of us, right? Because I was going through my own stuff at the time. He led both of us to that place, to that outcome. So I don't care if your house gets foreclosed on the same day that your boyfriend leaves you and you get fired from your job. It does not matter. Everything is energy. The reality where the outcome that you want, it lives somewhere. It's like this living vibrational energetic thing that is like living somewhere that is waiting for you to ground it into the physical. It's possible. Okay. So why is it that I always wonder this, why is it that some people will continuously let their conditions get the best of them and some people grow and evolve and get to live their best life? And I've sat and I've thought about this for a really long time. And I attribute it to like these few character traits. They're like these key attributes that you can actually learn how to embody. You can learn. They're like real practical steps to living your best life. Like, I really believe all you need to do is learn these practical steps. You can walk into this masterclass that's free, right? That you didn't spend any money to be here, right? You're spending your time, you're spending your focus, you're spending your attention. And you can take that, completely shift, and in 3 months be living an entirely new life. Okay. So put a yes in the chat if that's going to be you. Put a yes in the chat if you are deciding right now that you are going to take all of this and run with it. Yes, Patty says. Nicole says yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Yay. Tired of being tired, Patty says. Emily says, hope so. Hope is amazing. Hope is amazing. Hope is on the journey to knowing. I miss me and my energy. Nicole Evans says, screaming, yes. I love this. Hope is on the way to knowing, Emily, and I love that. I love that you're being vulnerable and honest with that because you can and you will.
I'm scared though.
It's always fear.
You got this. You got this.
I'm failing.
Okay.
So, oh, well.
Overwhelmed. Yeah. It can feel like a lot, right? Especially when all of this energy is coming in. I'm scared of failing, though we'll keep moving forward. I love this. We're going to talk about this. I'm just going to make sure that everyone's in the Zoom. Yeah, perfect. We're going to talk about fear in a little bit, actually. This is actually the perfect transition to this next slide. So thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
So number one, I know that everything is always working out for me. And I know that there's so much of this, like, oh, lucky girl syndrome, like, oh, do this, just like live delusionally. No, like, yes, but it's not, there's a practical way to doing this. It's not this like new age bypassing way. There's a practical way to do this. You can't just say, oh my God, I'm late, I'm going to catch the bus, and then just go walk there. And you also can't just run aimlessly and without having any direction or goal, right? You have to have faith and you have to have the action. You have to say, I'm going to get on this bus and run as fast as you can and try and go and get there. And if you miss the bus, it wasn't your bus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It wasn't your bus. And you know that that bus is going to come, that your bus is going to come. I feel like I've been running aimlessly. This analogy is perfect. I love this. I'm so happy this is landing for you. And here's the thing. I still break down. I still cry. I still sit in my emotions, right? Like, I think now because I've like entered like my soft girl era, maybe because like I am in a relationship that has made me feel safe enough to be myself. And so I'm like crying the most I've ever cried in my whole life. And it's not about being happy all the time. It's actually about using your emotions as a tool to guide you, right? Like, if something feels bad, I stop doing it. If something feels good, I keep going in that direction. I honestly live my life like it's a movie. So like, if anything I perceive as bad, right? Because nothing is good or bad, but let's say I perceive it as bad, it happens. I'm like, damn, that was really good for the plot. Like, I wrote this movie so well. That person played their role so well. That was good. They got me. But I keep moving. I understand that anything that's perceived as bad is actually good information, right? Because I know to stop moving in that direction. I understand the roles that people play in my life. I'm able to hold my vision of my dream and keep moving in that direction, even when there are zero signs of it working out. Nicole says that's showbiz. Oh, Nicole has a question. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, I would like to know, when you said you use your emotions as a guide.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say myself, I've been through so much that I have numbed myself. Mm-hmm. So I can honestly say that it's hard for me to use my emotions as a guide because I've trained myself not to let things bother me. So if that makes any sense to any of you.
Oh,
and
yeah. Yes.
Even though somehow I inherently know this is bullshit, I just continue on but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
yeah.
Yeah. So how do you unnumb yourself? How do you do that, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. That was me. Like, I, for so long, started using alcohol and drugs to like numb because it was overwhelming, and then got to a point where I like didn't feel anything. And so I was stuffing all of that down, and it's like all of this energetic material that's living in you. And so what it really takes is slowing down and setting the intention to feel. And there's, I'm sure, a subconscious program or an energetic program that you're running that is blocking your connection to emotions, because there's something in there that has said emotions aren't safe, right? And so so it takes really slowing down. And this was me. It was like, I didn't know how I felt about anything. I was like, I'm running on autopilot. And it's a bodily response that happens because your body needs to continue functioning, right? That's why we actually repress a lot of memories. Patty says, so understand. Yeah. We repress traumatic experiences sometimes because our body and our mind, they know that we have to keep functioning. And so once you get to a place where you're safe, which you are now, because you came into my world, which means you're ready to face some stuff. Once you set the intention, it will all just start coming up. So when it starts coming up, don't push it back down. And you're going to want to, because that is your like knee-jerk reaction to do. You're going to want to. And you're going to have to try and counteract that and fight that with conscious intention. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It is, it makes total sense. And I think that's why sometimes when I first wake up in the morning, I just feel so angry. Like, why am I pissed off? I just woke up. But I'm thinking the repressed anger just rising to the top. But instead of sitting with it, because it's very uncomfortable, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I can be ugly when I'm angry. So I cut it off. You know what I mean? I don't, and I just go about my day. And then it turns into like depression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of the time, it's not that we don't actually feel, because the feelings come up. It's that our like automatic response is to push them back down because they don't feel safe. And that's because we've been programmed that way, right? We have been programmed by, inherited programs, right? Learned and experienced programs through our lineage to stuff everything down, right? Because it's not safe to show emotions, especially as women, right? If we like show emotions, we're like crazy, right? And so,
Yep.
Nicole says, breath work and grounding help me a lot when I wake up angry. Absolutely. Grounding is like the theme of this class. And it's really because grounding is an energetic practice, but it's also a dimensional practice. And I don't think the other dimensions are really talked about a lot. Grounding is really about grounding into you. It's about sitting with your emotions. It's about knowing who you are. It's about going into the shadows. I do yoga like every morning to get centered. I love that. Nicole says, know your power. It's extremely strong and powerful to recognize these emotions. Absolutely. Oh, I love you guys. You guys are creating such a little community. It's true. And we're going to talk about it in this slide. Your intuition, your emotions are the gateway to your intuition. And your intuition is what is going to help you take massive action when you are scared shitless. Awesome. Like I move even when I have so much fear. My intuition always leads me in the right direction. Your emotions are indicators. So even when things don't make sense logically, you follow it. If you guys follow me, you know this story. I talk about this a lot. I bought a house on my own. I quit my job and I moved in with my boyfriend and his 2 kids all at once when my business wasn't making money. And I didn't know where the down payment money was going to come from. Like, and I had never lived with anyone else before besides my parents, let alone a significant other and 2 kids. I'm an only child. I didn't grow up around kids. I was scared. I was scared, but my intuition was like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is it.
Wow. Wow.
And
It's amazing.
yeah, this is what is going to ultimately allow you to leave the toxic codependent relationship cycles that you're stuck in. This is going to help you connect to your soul's blueprint. This is going to help you leave the soul sucking job, right? Your intuition. This is the gateway, right? This is, put a yes in the chat if you guys want to do that. Put a yes in the chat if you're like ready to move away from whatever you're trying to. Nicole says, yes, I love it. Your intuition is what you will fall back on every single time. Patty says, yes. Nicole says, yes. Emily says, yes. I don't know exactly where to go next. Yeah. Oh, I've been there, girl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like when, that's when it's like, okay, my body, everything, my soul is telling me it's not here, but I'm like, but where am I supposed to go? Like
I'm at a
what?
crossroads or something.
Yeah. And yeah, that's when those leaps of faith, right? Leaping into the void, that is scary. And I know that. And that, you know, that is what really helps you strengthen the connection with your intuition, where you're like, I know I'm not supposed to be here. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And I have nothing to fall back on, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because like, this is what it feels like. This is how I feel. I'm like excited for you, because that was like a turning moment for me in my connection with my soul. Like when I leapt and I didn't know where I was going, like this was when, okay, so we can go into this. I was in a really, really toxic, narcissistic relationship. It was a situationship really, but it went on for 3 years. He was married. It was not a good situation. And I hadn't like stepped into my power really, right? So I was still getting caught in like narcissistic relationship cycles. Patty says, I'm in that place too, where to go next? Yeah. And you know, have you ever been in a relationship where you're like, this is my person, like it's gonna be the end of the world if I'm not with them? Like that's how it felt. It felt like that. And I was like, I don't even know who I am or where I go or what to do without this person. And everything in me was just screaming like, this isn't it. You gotta go. Even if you're alone forever, you have to go. Even if, you know, your whole life that you plan together isn't gonna, like, you, like everything that you saw for yourself is just not going to happen. Like you have to go. And it changed my relationship with myself, because I didn't know who I was without him. I didn't know who I was without the overall codependent cycle. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know who I was. And it was just, it's a scary moment, but it's in those like the darkest moments where you're like in that void and you made the leap and you're like, oof, do I go back? And your body's like, no. That's where you build that strong connection with your inner being. You're like, damn, I got me. Like, I got me, baby. My inner being's got me. I know that I always am going in the right direction. Nicole says, when you have a chance, please explain what stepping into your power means exactly. I hear that phrase, but I don't really know what it means. Yeah, I love that. Okay, perfect transition to the next slide. You guys are so on point. So this is about discernment, and this is part of it. This is about discernment. The part of it is discernment, and part of it is about understanding what creator mode really is. understanding that you are the game maker, understanding that you make the rules of your life, understanding that you don't have to do anything or be anyone or go anywhere that you don't want to. That is like knowing your power. That is saying, I'm going to quit my job, buy a house. Society says it doesn't make sense. My parents say it doesn't make sense. Nobody says it makes sense. The rules, Nicole says I have crazy chills. I love it. The rules of like this, whatever we want to call it, we can say matrix, say this isn't going to make sense. But I know my power and I know I can make anything happen, right? I know I can create money out of anywhere. I know that I can, I'll figure it out. Anything is figure outable. That is stepping into your power. And you do that by using your discernment. So having my blinders up 24/7. I use my discernment every second of every day. I know that, again, nothing outside of me matters. And so I make my inner world my focus. I stopped listening to anything or anyone without checking in with my body first and seeing how it resonates. I completely stopped listening to people who don't have what I have, because that doesn't make any sense. I don't listen to the news. Patty says I was formerly a TV commercial producer and was good at that for others, and now I'm learning to be my own producer. Yes, I love that. That's a great analogy, right? Because it's like you can like for reality TV and stuff like that and commercials and stuff. It's like you have the editor and you edit like the final picture. You edit like what you see. You edit how people are portrayed. And like, that's exactly it. It's like, I edit my life. I'm the editor of my life because I only want to see this stuff. Like, I only want to see content that's going to help me with my goals. I want to only see empowering content. I want to only be around empowering people. I want to be around people who are doing what I'm doing. I want to be around people who like have similar visions and goals. Right. And so I'm like editing my life. I love that. Thank you for that, Patty. I don't consume a ton of tarot and astrology content anymore. And I think that would probably come as a surprise to most people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that content at all. I made a video about this the other day and I said that divination tools and like, anything, right? The Bible, astrology charts, anything, whatever it is, outside of you, they're helpful tools when you use them as tools. But as long as you're not giving your power away to them, like there was a point in my life where I was giving my power away to tarot cards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I know that nothing outside of me matters. I know that nothing outside of me has more power than me. I focus on creating my own little world that's perfect for me so I can anchor in my truth and anchor in as much light as possible. I'm the editor of my life. So stop listening to people who don't have what you want, number one. And then when you listen to mentors, readers, healers, teachers, which I think are amazing tools, right? Use me as a tool. I'm a tool. But like if I told you to leave your husband of 45 years, you're not going to just do it because I said it, right? Nicole says it can contribute to confusion if you become dependent on them. I was addicted to them. I spent so much money on readings. Yes. Patty says, thank you for the wisdom on the tools. So true. Emily said, I never not had money and I'm terrified of it. I'm lucky, so I don't want to ruin that if it makes sense. So I'm nervous to not have a job. Yeah, that was me. So I grew up pretty privileged, I would say. Like my parents, they've always made good money. And, I went to college, I have an MBA, and then my last job was a 6-figure job. And I've always had money. Security and stability have always been my pillars. And I was scared shitless to leave my job. And really how I manifested it was I was unintentionally manifesting my job to kind of like push me out, because I was like, I'm ready for the next income level. I'm ready to also like own my business, and I'm ready to, you know, help people and be in my purpose. And so as soon as I started manifesting that, my job kind of fell apart. And so at the time, you know, it was scary, but I always knew. I was like, even if I wanted to still be here, I cannot do this anymore. Like, you'll get to a point, if it's meant for you, if you are meant to quit your job and start something else, you're going to feel it inside, right? Because like quitting your job is not for everyone. I know it's like really a trend right now where people are like, oh, like quit your 9 to 5, do the freelancing thing, do whatever. Like, that's right for some people, but that's the whole point, right? Discernment. It might not be right for you. It might be in your soul blueprint to have the job, you know, that you have, right? And so my soul blueprint did not have a 9 to 5 in it. It was 9 to 5s were draining for me. But when I step into my business and I'm working for 8 hours and creating, it feels like time flies by like that. That's how I know it's in alignment with me. So Nicole says alignment. Yes. So let's do a quick little exercise right now. And I want you to try this. Get really present. Just close your eyes really quickly and just try and like ground and anchor into you and expand your awareness. Really feel the energy of the room around you. Expand it even outside of you, and then even outside of the room. Try and expand it outside. Really get anchored in. And so I want you to say to yourself, and you can say it out loud. If you want to say it out loud, go on mute. But just say, my name is, and then insert a name that is not yours. Okay, so I'm going to say, my name is Stacy.
My name is Joanne. Ooh, yeah.
Now I want you to anchor in and say your name. My name is Lauren.
My name is Patricia. My name is Patty.
And so I really want you guys to practice that and anchor that. If you guys didn't feel a difference in your body, that just means that there's programs that need to be either deleted or recoded in your energy field, in your body code, to strengthen your connection to source, to you, but ultimately to source or God or whatever you want to call it. Because you should be able to feel answers in your body.
Okay, so when you said the false name, it was like something, I was supposed to feel something that let me know it's not right. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so it's going to feel different for everyone. For me, when I started noticing this, false, or I like to call them not truths, right? Because there's someone's truth, but they're not my truth. I feel it more on the left side of my body, and I feel it more, it's like a different energy. It's hard to explain. It's going to be different for everyone, but for me, I feel it on the left side of my body. When I feel it as my truth, I feel it more on the right side of my body, and I feel it more in my heart.
That was so interesting.
Yeah, it is, right? Patty, did you feel a difference? I noticed you were kind of signaling that you felt a difference. Yeah. How did you want to share the difference for you? How did it feel in your body?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It was really interesting because just how I was named in my family, there's a story around that.
Okay.
And I've gone by Patty for a long time, but my real name is Patricia.
Okay.
And when I sat with Patty, it was like, that's okay, but Patricia felt stronger. It's like time to really move into being Patricia. That's like strength. So that was really interesting. And when I said the other name, that was like, that was like, no, that's not me. Totally not. So it was a really awesome experience. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah, it's something that you can practice. And like the more you practice it, the more you'll get familiar with your body. And, you know, if you don't feel anything, Nicole, like it's probably because, again, you're suppressing the emotions, right? The emotions are the gateway to your intuition. And I think intuition, a lot of people explain intuition as like the clairs, right? Like clairsentient, clairaudient, stuff like that, like psychic abilities. But your intuition is also located in your body, right? And it's not just these psychic powers, right? We're all intuitive. We all can move with how we feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So Patty, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's interesting that you said when it was the not truth, you felt it on the right side. And when it was the truth, you feel it on the left. And then
Yes.
you feel on the right. Because sometimes I hear these like whistles, either in the left or the right side. So can that discern or be like, I don't know, a sign or something as to if this is something that I should be wary of or something that's false or not true, as opposed to something that's real?
It definitely could be. And so, like I said, it's going to be different for everyone, right? And so the key is to really go deep and like build that relationship with yourself. Like that's the key, right? Discernment is, no one can give me that answer except myself. And so once you start building the relationship with your body and your inner aspects and how you feel, you'll get a sense. You'll just have to play and really get to know yourself and know, you know, because it definitely could be. It's going to be, you know, I had no idea, you know, about doing that exercise until I was shown. And then once I was shown, I just practiced it. And I was like, that's interesting. I feel differently on my left side than I do my right when I say these things. And so it's really just like an exploratory process. It's an exploratory process. You get to have fun with it too. Okay. So, and Patty says, curious those energies you knew, security, stability. So wondering if we invite an energy in and become familiar with it, we might grow confidence with it. Absolutely. I love that. Everything is energy, right? And so you will become stable externally, or your reality will reflect stability externally when you have it internally first. The energy, everything comes from energy. Everything starts as an energetic particle to a thought form, to a feeling, to materialize in 3D, right? So when the reason why my career in advertising didn't last, it was because it wasn't built on my truth. It wasn't built on the foundations of me. It wasn't stable. It wasn't stable. And so as I grew and I peeled back the layers and the programs of me, that had to go with it, right? That's also why the old relationships had to go. That's why I couldn't stay with my past partners, because they weren't built on truth. They were built on programs that I inherited or that I experienced and created out of survival. Okay. So Patty says so understand the advertising thing. Yeah. Yeah. Freelance. Yeah. Yeah. I worked in agencies and I will never go back. I couldn't go back. And now I'm losing a lot of ad friends. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I actually cannot be friends with them any longer just because our lifestyles are so different, right? I don't go out and drink. Yep. I don't go out and stay out until 2 a.m. You know, I love them dearly. But my life is just so much different than theirs. Nicole says discernment, intuition, even knowing myself was hard for me until I started grounding. Nicole, like speaking my language, I am the grounding queen. I think you guys are probably tired of hearing me say it all over social media. You're like, what is the answer to this question? I'm like, ground. Like grounding is literally the answer to everything. And here's the thing. There's no way to really know yourself. There's no way to discern. There's no way to take yourself seriously. There's no way to have blinders up when you are floating out into the ether, when you are not anchored into you. I never got it until I did it. It was so frustrating. Absolutely. Like the reason why our energy isn't anchored, especially like on the spiritual path, right? Like, and you see a lot of spiritual people who like live in these higher frequencies and like their lives are a mess, right? They're psychic, but their lives are a mess. And it's because their energy is truly like outside and dissociated from their bodies. And they can't actually like bring anything into this reality. Like that was me for a little bit on my spiritual journey. Like I was so focused on the higher frequencies and like really just intaking all of this spiritual knowledge, but I couldn't like be practical and apply it. And so, yeah, it was like, I was getting all of this intuitive information. I was channeling. I was so into, that whole world. But then my finances took a hit, right? My physical health routine took a hit. My arms aren't as toned. Let's see. Emily says, I have issues with jobs not meeting my values and feel everyone there isn't on this path. Hard to relate to others. Oh, yeah. Like, I won't blame anyone for my problems, but I will say, I don't know if I would have gotten arrested for a DUI if I didn't work in advertising. I don't know. It was still my fault, but the culture of my job, it like overtook me. It did. It swallowed me in and spit me back out. And I was like, all right, I'm good at this. I'm so good at this. It's draining, yes, but like it's not like other jobs, right? I'm like, we're not doctors, we're not saving lives. I see people grinding every day. This isn't bad, right? But I got to a point where in my journey, I had peeled back the self-love and self-worth programs so much that I was just like, no, I deserve more. I deserve more. And I didn't know how I was going to get more. I didn't know what was possible, but I was like, I cannot do this. And, if you're on that path, like there will be a point where you're like, no, it's just like a relationship, right? Like you get to that point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, nope, nothing is worth feeling like this. Nothing is worth feeling like this. And, it's worth it, right? Like it's worth it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like being a business owner it's challenging, right? It has its challenges and it's very different transitioning from being an employee and having that hat to having a business owner hat. And there's so many different things that goes into it, but having the freedom and feeling like I value myself enough to charge my prices, right? Like I am the sole creator of my money. It's so empowering. It's so fun. It's so beautiful. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's amazing. And so it's to this point where I take myself seriously, right? Like I had big ass goals. Like when I got arrested, I was sitting in my room journaling and I was like, I'm gonna create a business helping others. I'm gonna have a beautiful home. I'm gonna have a dream partner. I'm gonna have kids and I'm gonna be so in love with my life. And I did not know how I was gonna make this happen, right? I'm gonna go deep with you here, I'm gonna go deep. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be on this planet anymore. I don't know what the point of being here is. But it was in those moments where that inner knowing that I couldn't put to words, that like, I'm going to get to where I see and where I want to go, that kept me here, right? Like, you are not the person that's stuck in the toxic relationships. You're not the person that's stuck in the job. You're not the person who doesn't know their soul purpose. You are not the person who is experiencing these conditions. You are you. You get to define who you are. You get to define what your life looks like, no matter what happened. Like, let that sink in. Nothing outside of you defines you. Put your name in the chat. I want to see everyone put their name in the chat. Yes, Nicole. Yes. Yes. That feels good, right? To see your name there. That's who you are. Yes, Emily in all caps. I love it. Take up space, girl. Yes. That's who you are. It is not your circumstances. So start taking yourself seriously, because you are a powerful, powerful person. You're the most powerful person in your reality. Okay, we got two more. So I'm hyper intentional with my time and my energy. This is a big one. And I view my energy in ways that most people view their money, right? And like I do wonder why people don't do this, because we use the word like spend, like I spend my time, right? Like I spend my energy. So like I think about this like an investment versus ROI. I ask myself these questions. Am I getting an equal energetic value or energetic exchange from this experience? Like with my 9 to 5, like when I worked in advertising, I was like, you guys are getting so much from me, just because number one, I love me so much and I know how much value I have to bring. And you're only paying me this? Pennies. I'm like, am I growing from this or am I being drained? Same thing with the relationships. Like I got to a point, especially in my last one that I talked about, right? Like when I was with the guy who was married, I was like, hold on. You're getting everything from me, but what am I getting back in return? Am I being drained? Like you're not pouring into me. I ask myself, can I get a better ROI from doing something else? Nicole says, also been a struggle walking away from people, things don't value me. Yeah. Can I outsource whatever this is to spend my energy in a more productive way? Is this moving me closer or further from my goal? The outsourcing is a big thing, right? I think a lot of times we are afraid to spend money, but like we rather spend our time. And so I think now, like, okay, how much time, or like I equate my time to money, because that's it's like the same thing. That's like a whole nother class, Surviving to Thriving. That's coming up in June. But your energy and your money are the same thing, right? What you cannot get back is time. Yeah, let that sink in.
All the young ones out there, let that sink in, really. I'm not saying I'm old, but I've have quite many years on you, everybody. And I've gone through some really great times and some not great times, blah, 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 blah. I'm hitting a new decade. So listen to this woman. She's you, Lauren. Amen.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. Patty says, best question, am I growing from this or being drained? It's a real thing because it applies to everything. It applies to people. Emily says, I've been draining others and I have guilt because of it due to me struggling so much with depression. How do you forgive yourself? So
I've been the one draining others. If that makes sense.
you've what did you say?
I feel like I've been the one like draining others,
Draining
like
others.
like so much anxiety and like, you know, anger. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. So, okay, two things. Number one, the fact that you are even aware of that tells me that you're not actually draining people, right? Like, it's the people who think they're the shit, don't think they're doing anything wrong, are like, those are the people who are actually draining people. Because it's one thing to, you know, release and just only think about yourself. But like, it's another thing to like lean on others for support. Like the universe, especially during times like this, bring us people who are receptive, right? And so give yourself permission to take up space. You know, I think that was a hard thing for me because I was like, I'm that person. And this is a good point, right? Like, ask yourself, like, when are you being that person for someone? Like, I used to be the person where everyone would come to me about everything, unload. Here's my problems. Oh, listen to my stories, right? And then when I needed them, that no one was there to be found.
Right? Oh my God.
Right?
Right? Sorry. God, it's so true.
Mhm. Yes. And so when I was going through my Kundalini awakening, the universe brought me the right people who were like receptive and so ready to hold space for me. And it just felt like the scales were like balancing out. It felt amazing. Like, and it was just like, wow, I didn't know where the support was going to come from. And then it came and I was like, oh my goodness, like, thank you, God. Like, you know, and so I'm just give yourself permission to hold space because I know that you've been that person for other people too. And it's not always going to like equal out to like, oh, well, this person held space for me, so I should hold space for this person, right? We're all connected and the universe just makes everything work out. Everything happens in divine order. So give yourself permission to take up space, give yourself permission to feel and lean on people for support. And then a practical way, you know, that's like energetic, right? That's like high level, like spiritual concept, but like a practical way. That's actually in my interactive workbook for healthy boundaries is to ask, hey, do you have the space? Do you have the capacity to hear me right now?
Mhm.
Like, do you have time for this? And like, if they're being honest and they don't have the time, that's okay. The support will come in another way, but you don't have to feel guilty. Right. And so with this, being hyper intentional with your time, with your energy, I want you guys to start asking yourself, like, whose shit am I carrying? Whose shit am I carrying? Am I the go-to person that everyone comes to? And then no one's to be found when I need them? Am I this shoulder to cry on for someone that I could be using this energy to build my business? Let's see. Nicole says, I have not yet started my business of helping others, but one thing I've learned is the importance of turning pain into passion. I love that.
Awesome.
Oh my God. You took this so deep, Nicole. Thank you. I love that. Like, I think us as empaths, as healers, as people, you know, if you're in my world, like you're a special kind of someone for sure. And we know how to like alchemize and transmute whatever we're going through and then making it something. Like my whole business, like my literal entire business is built off of my pain. It's built off of me going through shit
Mm.
and teaching you how to not go through what I'm going through, or if you're going through it, get through it faster so you don't spend the same amount of time that I did figuring it out.
Mm.
Right? Like, that's a very practical way to turn your pain into passion.
Mm.
An emotional way is recognizing that you, right? The name that you put in the chat, that is you because of everything that you went through. That is you because of all of the experiences, all of the tribulations, all of the trials, everything. And you're getting to where you're going because of that. The only reason I'm getting to live my dream right now is because of everything that I've been through. Yes. Patty says, right. Emily says, yes. Nicole says, confirmation. Oh my God, I love this. And if you're hesitating to start, think about how much you can help others. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yes.
Lauren,
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Do you have a good mastermind group or support group? Because after advertising, I'd got 2 life coaching certs and made too many, moves at once, got in a relationship, moved to New York City, and I just blew myself out of the water. And then all the energies in life started to change, but I didn't have the support system, and I think having a really good support system is really key. So I'm asking you, do you have a really good support system for yourself? I mean, you have yourself, but I think I don't know, I'm confused at that. So are you getting clear? That's I'm like blowing this question.
No.
Your own support system beyond your own internal support system.
I do. I mean, healers need healers. Like, it's so important.
Yes.
So I have a whole team. Like, I have a whole team. So I have a business mentor. I have a therapist. I've been going to therapy, the same therapist for 5 years. She's literally like my angel on earth. And I have my own quantum healer. So the healing that I do, it's a very similar style, and I really resonate with her. She's like another angel on earth. And like, what's so cool is that the support always comes in at exactly the right time, like exactly the right time, right? Like, before this, I had a spiritual mentor, and that's actually where I got certified to do intuitive healing. And so I was with her for 1.5 years. And then, you can tell when you start growing, in a different way, right?
Right.
And a new relationship is needed. And then right at the time, like, I found my new healer, and
yep. It's the trust factor.
it's the trust. Yeah. And that is why, I built my house healing, right? It first started like, I didn't even know. I didn't know how I was going to help people. I was like, I have all this information, and it started as this spiritual business, and it still is, but it's like morphing into its own thing. I don't really know what it is, right? But I was just like, I need to help people. I need to help people because people need people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the basis of this. Like, people need people. Emily says, I'm so happy I met you at HotWorks. I'm so happy I met you too. It was meant to be. Like, that is the true key to this life, is connection. People need people. And so I implore you, right? Like, when you are in those moments and you're stuffing down your feelings and you're like, people suck, I don't need anyone, I'm just gonna do me. Remember, people need people. Okay. So really quickly, last one. I upgrade fast. Okay. I'm so receptive to the energetic upgrades that we all receive. We all receive them. And some people, even the people who don't really believe in this stuff, right? There's energy coming into this planet that we receive to upgrade. And so I'm like on overload. I'm like, I want energy on steroids. Like, I'm like, God, show me what's holding me back. Show me what's holding me back so I can release it. Like, I am not afraid to look at my shadows. I'm not afraid to look at my old programs. I am completely, entirely okay with stepping into a new reality and a new identity. Nicole says chills. I love it. I know my old identity doesn't define me, right? I'll have an epiphany about something and I'm like, all right, cool. I move right then and there. I do not wait until I'm comfortable. People tell me all the time, like, they're like, Lauren, like, your life looks so different. I'm like, yeah, I know. It does, doesn't it? And it makes them uncomfortable, right? Like, people get so used to fitting you in this box. And it makes them so uncomfortable when you don't fit their mold anymore. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, do you? I'll do me. So Nicole says it takes so much strength to do that introspection. It does. It's not easy. It's simple. And ease is available to you, but it's not easy, right? And so when you are doing that work, when you are diving deep into the shadows, especially when it comes to these programs and the upgrades we receive, I want you to ask yourself, like, where am I playing small and why, right? Like, where are you holding onto parts of your identity because you don't know what lies ahead and it's scary, or you don't want to outshine other people? This was a big one for me, especially with people like being like, what are you doing? Or you don't want to upset other people, right? Where are you holding on to parts of your old identity that you know needs to die because you're scared?
Everything that you just said, don't want to outshine or upset or be the center of attention, even though we naturally are, but we don't seek it.
Yes.
So you understand? That makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you before I know you had just the last one.
Yeah.
It kind of piggybacks off of what Nicole said, turning your pain into purpose.
Yeah.
I have known for quite some time that the reason that I endured all of the hells that I did is to help others, much like you did. Drug addiction, suicide attempts, the abusive relationships, you name it, I could write a million books. How to step into that is what I am now wondering. And I was with the job thing, I've been doing the same thing for over 20 years, which is elderly care provision, Alzheimer's patients.
Okay.
I have 100 job applications out and all of them are telling me no. So I'm taking that as a big sign, let it go. This is not what you're meant to be doing anymore. And that fear that Patty spoke of, well, what am I going to do? I need to make money. I got this car note. I got to eat. You know, I like nice things. But I know that I am supposed to step out because also I feel like I'm not meant to be working for people because kind of like you, entrepreneurship is my path, but that fear thing, that's what I'm working to overcome. I'm not going to say is what's holding me back. I'm going to say that's what I'm working to overcome. So if you could give some tips, young lady, because I'm 53, so I ain't got as much time left as you do. I'm just saying. So I would love.
It's a perfect time. And
it is.
It is. I'm 61. I did my last 10 years as an internship as I look at it going, boy, excuse my language, I fucked up. But hey, I learned a lot. Sorry.
But it's the thing, like, nothing we do is a mistake because it is all meant to happen that way. And so it doesn't matter.
I've got a feeling for you. You got it. I don't know. You're sorry. Just my intuition coming in. I'm going to be quiet here. Sorry.
Talking to me or Lauren, Miss Patty?
What?
You talking to me or were you talking?
Yes, I'm talking to you. There's like, just from what you're sharing. Sorry. Do I have permission to share this?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
It's just, you have so much experience and you have so much care. And it's I don't know what your vision is with this or how you're going to don't even worry about creating your vision, just kind of come up with one and play with one, what would feel good. And you can just like bust a move, bust loose from this other stuff and create something really foundationally awesome.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, don't wait, right? Like we talked about that with the upgrading fast. Like I get something and I'm like, all right, I'm moving, because I know that the path is going to unfold as I do it. Like I make the path. Make the path. Right. And so like my house healing started because I made a tarot video on TikTok and I got a bunch of views and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'll just help people this way. And now it's turned into a quantum healing business and a coaching business. And then maybe it'll turn into a sweatshirt brand in like 10 years. Like I have this dream of creating these like energetically like imprinted sweatshirts and like an leisure brand. And I'm going to do it. Maybe it might become a book, right? Like, so all you got to do is move, because the path is going to unfold, and like you are going to unfold the path. You are going to unfold the path, because this is the work. This is the work. As you unfold, your outer reality unfolds. The work is about becoming your authentic self. It's about being your authentic self. Excuse me. It's not about becoming anything. It's about being your authentic self. And so I know, Nicole, you asked this. You're like, I'm not sure what the actual work is. This is it. This is it. All you need is you and your connection to God, right? You are truth. You are love. You are freedom. You are abundance. So when your mind takes over and your mind wants to express your avatar in a way that feels funky, that doesn't feel good, right? When you're in an abusive relationship and you're with someone who doesn't take accountability, who like blames you for something that's all your fault, or when you're in the job that doesn't value you and you feel drained by it, right? That is your mind overriding your avatar, creating situations that are going against your truth.
Okay.
So how do you start being your truth? This is the work, right? This is the work. It's about removing the programs, removing the patterns, the sequencing in your energetic field that's holding you back from your truth. It's going in to the energetic matter that lives there, right? When those times you're angry or you're feeling drained or you're feeling sad, it's sitting with yourself and being, okay, where did this come from? Am I in this situation because we didn't have a lot of money growing up and I was taught that money doesn't grow on trees? Or am I in the situation because, you know, I saw my mom get beat up by my dad?
Yeah.
Right.
Everything that you're saying, it's like you've been following me around my whole life. Everything that you're saying. And it's crazy because my life mirrors just about every woman that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
The abusive relationships to the poverty situations, all of that, the low self-esteem. And I've overcome a lot, and I'm grateful to God and proud of myself because I have overcome a lot, as well as the shame, because what I've learned is I cannot be ashamed of anything that I've done or gone through if I am to help others out of it. I've got to own it so that they can trust me and know that they don't have to be, they can be vulnerable with me and there will be no judgment coming from me, because how can I judge you for something that I've done or something that I've gone through? It's just knowing how to begin. And it's crazy that you said TikTok, because I've been making TikTok videos.
Yes,
and
I love that for you.
I'll tell a little story about something that happened to me and then tie in a lesson with it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And I'm not making no money off of it, but hey,
No,
I'm helping people.
It's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's exactly, it's about helping people. And as you serve, that's when the money comes, right? And it all will come at the right time, you know, and it's about that, right? Like, I truly believe that's why I do these classes for free, right? I truly believe someone can see one of my videos or step into my classes and like shift and just run with this energy, right? And so that is what I'm here to do. It's not about the money. The money always comes, but If I can just help someone move into this higher version of themselves, that's when the world changes. Because that's what this is about. It's about living in a world, living in the utopia that I see in my mind, right? Living in a world where we're all so happy and joyous and peaceful and abundant. Nicole says the Four Agreements is one book that really helped me dive deeper into understanding my preconditioning, and it made me realize my potential. That's amazing. I haven't read that one, but yeah, like it's that's the work. It's the preconditioning. It's the programs that are literally energetic material coded in your DNA, right? And so how do you actually do the work, right? You go in there. Well, one, you could see me, right? You could book a session with me and have, this amazing immersive experience where you're not lifting a finger, right? And we're doing it together. Or if you want to do it yourself, it's what you do. You sit with the darkness. You sit with the darkness and you move through it. The only way is through. And so I hear so many of you guys on my story, right? 66% of you are saying you're going through it. And so that's why I wanted to create this class, and I wanted to create something that could really just help you start, right? Because I do feel like a lot of you guys, if you could have some like tangible products, tangible steps on like, how do I become my best self? You could win. I want to see you win. I want to see you win. I want you to live in your truth, and I want you to live your best life. So I did create a special offer just for you guys who came to the class. Do you guys want to hear about it? Put a yes in the chat if you want to hear about it. Yes. Okay. This is crazy. I'm so excited. I appreciate the class and your post. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. So I created the Elevation Train Starter Kit. I'm so excited. You get so much stuff here, and it helps you really anchor into like the starting points, right? It's really going to help you control and like peel away the external conditions that are kind of getting in your way to really anchoring into you. And so you get my Living Your Best Life with Healthy Boundaries interactive workbook, which again, right, you have these toxic relationships in your life, your family, your friends, your lovers, your bosses, whatever it is, they're pulling at your energy, and that's keeping you from really anchoring and grounding into who you are and really knowing what your next move is. So this workbook takes you from feeling stuck in that place to confidently saying no to what you don't want to do and shouting your boundaries from the rooftops without feeling guilty, because the guilt was a big part for me. Like feeling guilty about taking my time back is something I really struggled with. And it's something that you have to work through, right? Because your time is yours. Your time is yours. And so the other thing that you get is my interpersonal relationship order form interactive workbook. And so as you're peeling away the layers, right, you can manifest at the same time. You don't have to, like, that void period doesn't have to be so large. You can peel and manifest at the same time. You can move quickly. And so while you're peeling away, you can also use this 6-step process that I used to call in my dream partner, my relationship, my business, my life with this book. And so with that, you also get your first month free in the Elevate membership, which is amazing. It's such a fun community of girls, my empathic girlies, I call them, where you get step-by-step monthly action plans that take high-level spiritual concepts and then actually like bring them down to the ground and give you steps to take to apply them to your life. Again, like there's so much spiritual fluffy BS out there. This is really about like taking it, grounding it, and actually making practical change. May's topic 2 is about manifesting extra income in your life. And so, that's going to create the stability, that's going to create the security that you need to start anchoring down into you. And then you also get 2 of my signature Quantum on Demand energetic healings to remove low frequency emotions like anxiety, guilt, shame, depression, and then it also helps you ground and connect energetically, right? Because I know we talked about grounding as a dimensional practice. Energy is a really, really, really big part of that, right? If you have energetic material in your field that's weighing you down, especially that's not yours, right? As empaths, we take on so much that is not ours. Okay. And so this helps you really clear it out, cleanse, ground, and connect you. And then lastly, so if you join on this call today, I'm doing something special. You get access to the Elevation Train broadcast group. So you'll get inside a Voxer broadcast group where you can ask me through the end of April, any questions, any concerns you have while you're working through this program, or anything about your life. And I'll channel solutions based on what I'm seeing in your energetic field. And so just for reference, like getting in a private session with me, you guys know this is $200 for an hour, right? And so this is like crazy access to me that I want you to guys to have while you're working through this. Okay, so you get all of this. The value is $1,000, more than $1,000 when you put in the Voxer broadcast for $39. So if you guys are interested, I'll drop the link. If you guys are ready, you can, purchase. I'll drop the link in the chat. That's amazing, she says. I love it. Yes, Nicole. So if you guys are interested, you can get on that. It will be up after the class. You just won't get the Voxer broadcast, which is fine. It's still a really good deal. But I'm so happy that you guys are here. And I'm so happy that you guys are investing in you and like really taking the time and energy to step into your highest version. It is just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And it's just such an honor to be here with you.
Thank you,
Do you guys,
Lauren.
do you guys have any questions? Patty says that's incredible. Yay. Emily says yay. Yeah, if you guys are interested and if you guys sign up, drop it in the chat when you do sign up. I'm so happy to have you here. Do you guys have any questions? Did I answer all of your guys' questions? I feel like in the group, we got to everything. We talked about the cool part about all of the topics that you guys put in the chat when I asked you, to like ask me questions for the masterclass, is that everything really does stem from what we talked about today. Like whatever it is, right? Whether it's codependency, whether it's stepping into your purpose, whether it's feeling stuck, whether it's feeling lonely, it's all tied back to this, tied back to, am I in my power? Do I believe in myself? Am I being intentional? Am I connected to my truth? And do I trust myself enough? Do I trust myself enough? Do I trust God, universe, source enough? That's really what it's about. And so I just fully believe in every single one of you, especially like 18 or 20 people signed up for this. There's 7 of you here. You are the ones that truly are leaned in, that truly are like, I'm going to do this. Like, I feel like you stepped into this room and you are going to run with this. You are going to, like, I'm going to see you in 3 months and you're just going to be telling me like, Nicole, you're going to be like, I have my dream business. Other Nicole, you're going to be like making thousands of dollars in your dream business. Emily, you're going to quit your job. Like, I see all of you guys like stepping in, especially after this eclipse season, like this crazy vortex that we're in. Nicole says, yes, I love it. I got to take a picture of us to put on my story. I'm going to unshare my screen.
I want to say to Emily,
Yeah.
your room is beautiful. Did you like all of the artistry in there?
So I actually work for brain injury clients, and a lot of those paintings were done by some of my clients. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, I love you guys so much.
Lauren, you're
Do you
a
guys have
gem.
any- Oh,
You
you are
are.
too. You are too.
Well, when you first showed up on Instagram, I think I saw one of your first posts, and I was like, there was just an instant attraction. And then I started following, and then I started feeling guilty, going, "God, I need to pay this woman some money because she gives a lot of." I mean, but it was, you could feel the love, you could feel the genuine authenticity, because they're just like you said. There's just so much false kind of garbagey stuff out there. So thank you.
You're so welcome. There so is, and that's why, especially when I just, got onto it, really started like around the pandemic for me, where I was like seeing these crazy videos of people like like predicting all of this like world ending stuff, and like the aliens are coming and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, no, like we're leading people astray. We need to bring it back down to like, because it's all a distraction, right? Like once you realize everything, like nothing matters outside of you, you can create whatever you want. Once you realize everything's a distraction, you can just hone into like, this is what my body is feeling. This is what I get to do. I get to be here. And so that was like the basis of starting my business. It's like I've been through so much, and I know everyone else is too. And so I want everyone to just live their best life.
Yeah.
And it's like partly selfish, right? Because I want the world to get better. Like
selfish. I mean, gets weird when you with language and the duality, blah blah blah. But the genuine, I think, for all the empaths and everybody here, I think I'm going to take the liberty to say this, is we just love a lot, and we want to make a better world. And I came here to play and got my butt kicked. And I'm learning to be a better creator, going, wow,
yeah,
to learn.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for having such a safe home.
Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, I love that you said that. Like my goal for like the energy that I try and like curate for My House Healing is to feel like safe, like a safe home. Like you get to just like come on into my house.
Yeah.
And
well, nobody's
like,
gonna come into your house with bullshit because you won't take it. Like it out.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Especially after working in advertising, that gives you lots of good training. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, like I should do a whole live on that about how the advertising industry was for me. It's crazy.
I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you.
I'm so happy that we did this, you guys. Do you guys have any other questions? Did I answer everything for you? How are you feeling? How are you guys feeling?
Good.
Better.
Feeling better. Yes, thank you.
Yay.
I have a question about the package that you set up. How
Yeah.
long will that be on offer if I'm not able to pay for it right now? How long will
you'll have it. So I'm gonna like run it until Sunday, right? And so like you won't be able to get the Voxer if you don't buy on this call, but you'll be able to get all of the interactive workbooks and the Elevate membership free. So I'm gonna have that out through Sunday, and then you'll get an email too with the link.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh, all right, you guys. Well, I hope you have an amazing night. Enjoy the rest of this eclipse energy, and I am here, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye. You're so welcome. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.